What's good, my peoples? Pray all is well. Um, I want to start off uh, with my first 20-minute Treal talk with DV. Um, just, you know, getting back in the swing of things with Trill Talk with the podcast and, just having these little one-on-one chats with you guys. But, you know, uh, I want to um, I want to start this one out with something that I feel is necessary before we can truly gain a deeper understanding about life collectively together as we're sharing knowledge and sharing our experiences with one another. I think is one key rule that we should all adhere to before we can really embark on um, enlightening each other, and building and coming together collectively. And that's something called the golden rule. Um, the golden rule, I think most people understand and get this concept, the golden rule. Some people might get it, but just didn't know that it was called the golden rule. But whether from a religious aspect or not, simply the golden rule is do unto others as you will have them do unto you. Um, Love thy neighbor as thyself. Don't do something to other people that you wouldn't want people to do to you, so on and so forth. That's kind of like the basic concept of the golden rule. Um, and like I said, it's something that I think is uh, very concrete, like the foundation, with the layers of coming together and understanding and exploring truth and coming together um, as a unit. Is being able to do that. I think where the problem lies at loving others as you would love yourself is sometimes, man, we don't really know how to love ourselves. You know, um, people think that they do. A lot of times it's a situation where, people is like, hey, I'm gonna be on this quest to discover myself, or self-discovery, or love myself, and it's all predicated on physical things. But one thing that's important that you have to do, that you need to do, in order for you to really treat yourself right and love yourself so that you can love other people like you love yourself, is knowing yourself, understanding yourself on all aspects. Our desires and our cravings, they sometimes get in the way of healthy living. And when I say healthy living, I'm not just talking about food or physicality. When I'm talking about healthy living, I'm talking about your spirit, your mind, your soul. Ultimately a healthy soul, and a healthy soul holistically, that's the whole man. When you got a healthy body, you got a healthy spirit. All of that is conjunction together. Like your soul is the glue that's linking your spirit man and your soulish man, your carnal man, your fleshly matter, together. That makes who you are. And being able to put the right things into your body, put the right things into feeding your spirit, all of those things collectively together helps, you be your true self, and understanding your true self. And when you can do that, now you got a better concept of how to relate to your fellow man, because your fellow man is made up of the same components as you. made up of a consciousness, made up of a spirit, and made up of a body that has the same anatomical structure as the next man, no matter what your color, your size, your shape, your background is. All of those things we have in common. So when you understand those things, then you can understand how to actually treat others, how you should be treated. But like I say, we'll get deeper into that on another talk. But right now, I want to go into the origins of the golden rule and kind of unpack how it started, and how this one concept has, I want to say almost systematically unified mankind throughout the course of all of these years. Throughout history as we know it, the golden rule has played a key part in bringing us together. And first I want to take a look at, from some ancient text perspectives, how far back it goes throughout a lot of different cultures. And we're just going to kind of like have fun with it. I am going to kind of hone into one specific culture. I ain't going to tell y'all now. I'm going to kind of go through a list and let you guys see how much this golden rule has been around for generations. So the first one I want to take a look at is, of course, none other than Africa, the motherland, and the land known as Kemet. For all you people that don't know, Kemet is the original name of Egypt in Africa. Egypt is a Greek, is a Greek name for the land of Kemet. Kemet meaning black, the land of black people, us, melanin people. They were one of the first to kind of like adopt that. The earliest affirmations of reciprocity, meaning the mutual exchange between two people, was reflected with the study of Ma'at. And it appears in a lot of ancient texts. It dates back, as far back as 200, no, farther than that, about 2000 something BC. Don't let me get the line on that. But it's probably one of the earliest findings that we see this golden rule kind of come into play. Now, again, they didn't call it the golden rule, but you see it scribed in some pyramidal texts that's talking about doing unto others as you would have them do unto you. And then, like I say, from there, we go into Sanskrit traditions in India. Again, that's dating back to, maybe about 600-700 BC. All of this stuff, guys, is before Christ. We get in the New Testament, he said that in Matthew's. All of this is before Christ even said this. The Mahabharata, I never say it right, but I got that in my phone. I read a lot of that, but it's talking about Krishna. It's his whole story, and he talks about this. He talks about this philosophy of, don't inflict harm on people that you wouldn't want them to inflict on you. And then, like I say, the list goes on and on, from Greece to Persia. I definitely want to do a talk on Persian religion. My boy Zarathustra, again, very, very ancient religion, super powerful, talking about the battle between light and darkness, good and evil, heaven and hell. All of these concepts that were before Judaism or Christianity. But again, that was a Persian religion. That was one of their coined phrases, is doing unto others, treating others, with the respect that you would want them to treat to you. And like I said, going all the way up to Rome, Roman influence, Hellenistic period. That's where we get a lot of our Western culture today, you know. But the one that I want to really talk about now, and I'm going to talk about for about the next 10 minutes of this small, quick video, is in Far East Asia. Chinese culture, Chinese being one of the biggest land masses in Far East Asia. And this is where you really see the golden rule kind of become like a really holistic approach for a culture. And that was through the teachings of Confucius. Confucius was a Chinese philosopher. And I'm just going to give y'all again, I always tie in my background. I was raised Christian. When I was little, man, you know, Confucian, Krishna, Buddhism, any of these other belief systems or other religions from other cultures, man, if it didn't have Jesus, if it didn't have Jesus tagged to it, we were told that it was a cult. I didn't learn about it in my classroom. I didn't learn about it at home. I didn't learn about it in my church. I really didn't understand the Chinese culture. To me, man, Chinese people were a treat on the weekends if my mom took me to First Wok, you know, and got some fried rice, or, you know, going to the flea market and getting some knockoff clothes, or the girls getting their nails done. You know, I'm born and raised in the hood, man, Gary, Indiana. Like, that was my influence to the Chinese culture and Asian culture specifically. But now that I have branched out and I've met a lot of different people, I have a lot of friends that are all different ethnicities of Asia. I've learned so much and see the similarities in their belief systems. And Confucian is one of the strongest teachings and ritualistic mindsets that has been ingrained in that culture for over the last 2,000 years. So just give you a little bit of background about Confucian, which that name just means Master Khan. That was his name was Khan Q, and he was born in China about maybe 500 BC or so, but during a very, very hostile time in Chinese history, where a lot of all of the smaller states were battling and fighting with each other over kind of like world dominance for that area. I mean, that was the world to them. They didn't know what was going on in the Middle East or Africa. It was too far away, you know. That was the world to them. Asian people was the world, and they were fighting to see, you know, which group of people would be the supreme ruling state. And he grew up in this time, and he pretty much had this inner desire to not want to try to obtain leadership in such a hostile and violent way. You can almost say he was kind of like the Martin Luther King for Chinese people. And anybody that's Asian or Chinese or whatever, I hope that I'm doing honor by describing you guys' culture. But that's the perception and the understanding that I got from it. That he wanted to go about it in a more peaceful way, versus strong arming your way to the top. And that's what was going on around this time. And he had a strong passion for it. And it was when he began to really dig deep. He would always say that. Confucius would say, I'm a transmitter. I didn't invent any of this. But it was a lot of customs and rituals that had been buried because of military strategies and just a legalist approach at ruling over the people. Um, he basically was digging back deeper into the roots of their ancestors and pulling out a lot of these belief systems and bringing them back to light where people had just forgot about it. And he began to put these philosophies and these thinking patterns together. Now, again, around this time, China had its own school of thought. It was the 100 schools school of thoughts, where everybody had all of these different ideas of how we think. Philosophers, similar to like in Greek culture, Greek philosophy. Asia had this going on at the same time. Simultaneously, this was going on at the same time. Two different worlds. But this thinking pattern of people trying to dig into these deeper understandings was going on at the same time. And Confucius, he was bringing his ideas together, mixed in with a lot of deep-rooted spiritual practices and rituals, and one of them being the Golden Rule. And from that, the way I encourage people to just study this for yourself. I read the analytics of Confucius, kind of like, I would say, kind of like the Chinese Bible, but they teach this in their schools, their education system. They teach this. They tie in this sense of spirituality and deep thinking, conscious higher thinking. They tie that in right along with learning mathematics and science and all the other things that you need to learn as you educate yourself. Long story short, the Golden Rule was one of the things that Confucius really highlighted on, was to be a great leader. You don't treat people any differently than how you would want to be treated. A lot of people, if you ever follow me, you see I say that a lot. You become a servant king. You see that Christianity with Jesus. You saw that. You saw Jesus being a servant king, where he washed the disciples' feet. Like, Master, why are you washing my feet? You my master, But what he was showing is that willingness to serve the people in such a humble way, that it's relatable, versus in a dictator or a tyrannical way of, ruling over people, and that's doing it with love and with kindness and with compassion and with a mindset that we're all in this together, and it was Confucius. He traveled all over the place. He got in high positions and got kicked out, and he was ostracized. He went all over the place trying to get people to understand his philosophy, and it was rejected. And it didn't start to really come to light and get scribed down to about 300-400 years after he was gone. But it impacted the world, and I want to pay homage and give homage where homage is due, all the way to our thinking, Benjamin Franklin, all of the great thinkers of Plato, Socrates, all of these people, they pay homage to this understanding that, and I can't remember the guy that really started to write Confucius' story down and how we got the analytics and all of this. I can't think of the guy's name, but it was through his writings that started to pass on to other cultures that this Golden Rule, that title, came to life and was birthed. So just a quick little video just to talk about that, and I want to establish that amongst this community at Treal Talk is living by the Golden Rule, that you might have ideas and you might have concepts that you know, you feel that came from within, or things that have been passed down to you from generations to generations, things that your great 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 grandmother said, and they passed it on all the way down to your mother, and then your mother passed it on to you. We all have those in our family. And some we share similarities, but some might be tweaked a little bit different, you know, but it's when we share that within our family, you know, with your kids, and then you share it with your cousins and your aunts and stuff like that, and then share it with your neighbor, you share it with your coworker at work. Now you're spreading these different ideas of understanding life. You're sharing it together in a community in a way that can be received because of reciprocity, you know, in a way that it's a mutual exchange, that I have something that I want to give to you that's going to help empower you and equip you to be the better you. And I'm just only sharing with you things that have helped me. You know, I faced similar trials. Oh, you lost a loved one, you know. You lost a loved one to cancer. Well, guess what? I lost a loved one to cancer. And I experienced, you know, that heartbreak and that heaviness, you know, and that hurt and that pain, just like you. Well, this is how I got through. Maybe it might not work for you, but hey, I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to share it with you in love, in hopes that you can get to a place that you experience some true joy and true peace and true blissfulness in this physical life. And the person is open, they receive it, they analyze it for themselves, they meditate on it, they pray. Whatever it is that you do, you take that thing and you apply the things that help you out. And then you discard the rest, you know? And you discard it in a peaceful way that's not dishonoring or disrespectful to another person. And that's when you say you're wrong, or that's wrong, or that's false, or that's fake, or that's, and that's what we have right now. It's too many finger pointing and blaming about the things that people are saying that other people don't agree with, you know? And again, the background that I come from in Christianity, you see that all the time. You got, you know, mainstream Christianity, charismatic movement, prosperity gospel, whatever you want to call it, and then you got apologetics. And all apologetics do is just bash, you know, charismatic church, you know, the charismatic movement, and then charismatic movement, they're just defending themselves, you know. And then at the end of the day, you guys, you really pretty much believe the same thing, but the way that you go about doing it, yes, it's a little bit different. Yes, it may be some things that are inaccurate. You know, it may be a lot of things that are predicated on our own pride, our own arrogance that's mixed in the equation. Cool, you know. I get that. You know, you want to make sure that people are not getting deceived or not getting swayed, you know, the right way or the wrong way. But at the end of the day, when you do it in a way that's attacking, that's demeaning, that's degrading one another, all that is that causes more division, you know. So let's stop the division, you know. Let's love on one another. Let's try to share with one another. If you see somebody that is doing something wrong, you go to them in a loving way to try to share it with them. But if they're not open and not in the position or a place to receive it from you, then don't force it on them. Because all it's going to do is just make more of a conflict. And you just take that to the spiritual realm. And that's what you do. You intercede for them in a spiritual place, you know, and you allow things of the spirit to begin to work on their spirit. And as they are open to receive from the spirit, and when they're open to be able to hear that correction, then they'll come to them. And the only thing you did, you just planted a seed. You said it to them in love and not in a conflicting way. And you might not see the results of it. It might not be your job to reap. It might just be your job to sow. And it might not be your job to sow. It might just be your job to water something that was already sown in their lives. Just do your part. Sow the seed, walk away. Water the seed, walk away. And if you're the reaper, you reap it. You'll know it. You'll know it in your heart, because when the harvest is right, people will come to you and they'll openly say, hey, I want to hear what you have to say. And then they'll receive it. So, quick little 20-minute video. I'm at 24 right now, so I went over a little bit, but the essence of this video is to share with you guys is to learn who you are, learn how to love yourself, learn how to treat yourself. And as you do that, when you come across your brothers and sisters and just life in general, everything living in this world, you treat that as you would want to be treated. And when you do that, now we've laid the foundation and we can start to build our ideas and our concepts together to get to the truth. So I love you guys. I share this from my heart. I pray that you receive it, and I pray that you be in a good place. So love you guys.